Okay, take two. Let's start all this over from the top, and we'll try it again. So in my last video, I spoke a little bit about the Nimrod and Ishtar and how they had a baby named Tammuz, and that Tammuz, for fun, used to help hide his mother's eggs. Now, when you go on the internet and you try to look up this information to give reference, you can tell that the information is kind of all over the place. The Eoster is the name that they would have associated with what was it? I just read it just a minute ago. The pagan holiday of Easter. The word Easter does not appear to be derived from Ishtar, but the German Eoster, the goddess of the dawn, a bringer of light. Of the light, English and German are the minority languages that use a form of the word Easter to mark the holiday. But the truth is, Eoster, E-O-S-T-R-E, and Ishtar and Easter, all are of the same. It's all the same thing. You know, we all have different accents. It's all the same word. When I say the same thing, it's all the same word. And Ishtar is the queen of heaven and is mentioned in the Bible. That's from Sumerian. Mentioned in the Bible and has been associated with a number of different goddesses by different scholars, including Anat, Ashtar, or Ishtar, and Ashtoreth, or as a composite figure, Queen of Heaven. And Nimrod is actually something over here says the first on the earth to be a mighty man. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord, which, you know, that again we're having I'm going to have a problem with that word Lord, because that means somebody's above Nimrod, but that doesn't mean that Nimrod was not a lord himself. And you know, this word Lord and God are all like, you know, very much similar. Like God would have been the very guy at the top, the king, and you know, lords and ladies and all those would be sub rulers like governors, and the president's at the top. He's God. Taking that lightly. And you know, your governor would be your landlord, as right down to the people there in your local and city government. These are all people that are the structure of law and order, authority. It's just that there were different words that, you know, it was used back in the day. And this is one of the issues that I want to bring up about Christianity. You know, Christians, your congregation is getting thinner and thinner and thinner. And until it's not going to change unless you change. And for someone like myself, I don't like hearing that, you know, that Jesus was resurrected from the dead. You know, when we talk about Easter, your mother is the bringer of life, and the planet is the bringer of life. When we go through the seasons and all that, you know, like we're going right now, we're going into the fall, and then in the spring, all the life comes back. So that makes your mother, or it makes the planet, you know, that's the resurrection, is what I'm trying to say. That's the resurrection of life. And those of you that are Christians that can't allow someone like me to sit in your congregation, you know, then you're just going to find more and more of myself being produced as you become less and less important. So I'm here to try to help bridge that, and I'd like for you to accept that when we come to the holiday of Easter, that was a story of agriculture. The goddess Ishtar was a mother-like figure that flew all around the planet and laid her eggs. And because, you know, they saw the life coming from a bird's egg, and they saw the life coming from seeds, and she was the bringer of life, the resurrection. And for fun, her son would help her hide his eggs. He had a pet rabbit, and I don't know what story it was, Gilgamesh, that perhaps that this is where, you know, he's killed by a wild boar, and that's why in traditional Easter holiday we hide Easter eggs in remembrance of Ishtar, and we eat a wild boar or a pig. We sacrifice a pig because a pig had killed Tammuz, and that's a traditional Easter dinner. All right, let's move off of that. Just simply saying that there's always more to this. There's always this Paul Harvey moment going on. And, you know, like I mentioned before, you know, when Moses parted the Red Sea, it was a Red Sea of soldiers. It wasn't a Red Sea of, it wasn't a body of water. It was a body of people, like Christ's body, the body of Christ. All right. Now, look, again, you know, I'm not against Christians. I believe in Christian values. I believe in the fundamentals of Christianity. I believe it's important to forgive. I also believe it's also important to not forgive everything that happens. Some things that, you know, we do have penalties for. And currently, the reason why I haven't been making these videos is because of the trauma that I've went through with about people trying to get me to forgive a group of men that gang raped my wife, and I'm just not about to do it. When I say forgive, not about to forgive them, I'm looking, there won't be any reconciliation. I think that should have been placed in check when it happened. Those people should have been thrown out of school, every last one of them. My wife should have been brought out and shamed for what she did. There still probably should have been a divorce, and I should have gotten my kids and been able to continue on with my education. She should have been kicking rocks down the road. But that is not what happened. They turned the whole thing around and blamed me. And then when I blamed her, they went with that and blamed her as well. Anything to redirect their involvement. And they were definitely involved. Okay. I invite those who feel the way I do for us to unite and work out a pathway forward for the future. We could have our own church, and you know, that doesn't have to exclude any of the other religions. I shouldn't say any, but there's another way forward. And who doesn't like Christmas? You know, of course, some may find fault with the name, but December 25th is, that was a good time in most everybody's life. And it's good for people to come together as a family and unite, and holidays and a time of giving and time of cheer. These things are good. I just don't like how we always have to put it all into this religious aspect, and I'd rather give December 25th to Santa Claus. And I think that's a little bit more palatable. All right, let's move on. So in our country right now, there's a lot of folks that refuse to evolve and change. And they are the wealthy bloodline families who believe that their heritage grants them the divine right to rule over us. And yeah, I'm not big into that statement at all. They use technology to control what you're thinking, your feelings. It's sufficiently advanced that it would seem like magic to the average person. They pollute society, and they're using any means possible to do that. There are plenty of There's plenty of technology that's being hidden from the average person that could transform society. A lot of diseases that people can be cured from. Do I have anything to back that up? No, I don't, unfortunately. Other than the fact that you do hear a lot about Regeneron lately, don't we? A means of boosting a person's own immune system in order to help the body fight off disease. Okay, so I'm going to switch up again here. I haven't been making a lot of these videos because of the attacks that I've received, and which has caused me to have a terrible state of emotional trauma that I've had to work through. When I hear people that are very important to me say incredibly harmful and negative statements, especially statements that I cannot agree with, it left an effect. I ain't gonna lie, it made me cry. Trying to force me into a position to forgive that fraternity is not going to happen. I was joining that fraternity because I knew it was a means into the Freemasonry, and I knew how my wife was, and I was trying to find a group of friends that I could bring around my daggone family so that, maybe that she would finally, behave in a better manner. Now, I understand that was pretty naive, I suppose, of me expecting that to change her, but at least I should have been able to have a brotherhood of men that I could trust. And no, how naive of me. How naive of me. Still doesn't change anything. You shouldn't have done it. As I said in another video, I murdered you in my head for decades. It made me psychotic. When I went to the Army, it literally saved your life. Military creates good people. People benefit from their experiences of having been in the military. Television creates bad people. And our education systems apparently create some very stupid people at times. Not all of you, but there's a lot of you that think that it's more important to have a social IQ versus talking in reality. You want to know why somebody's looking like they're absolutely out of their effing mind? It's because of somebody that refuses to change due to how you feel how I should view the world. You don't get to tell people how to believe. You don't get to tell people how to raise their children. You have no business being in that at all. And education, when they go to school, should be just very dry information. ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, your opinions. You can stuff that up your ass. There's a lot of people in this nation that suffer from complex trauma. Childhood post-traumatic stress disorder is another way to look at that. People that are sexually abused as a child, as I was, aren't starting out in life nor will they usually end up being able to catch up to other people in life due to the fact of lack of trusting in folks. All right. It's hard for the trust. And that's one of the reasons why, again, back to me not making these videos, I don't trust you. I do not trust you. If this turns out to where this comes into being some sort of boomerang and backfiring and coming back on me, you can damn well best believe that this will not end here. So a moment ago, I was going to look up something here that I get, the gaslighting and whether or not I can believe the messages that I'm receiving. Here's a email that I get. I probably have signed up for it at this point, but it showed up somewhere along the line, and through Twitter or maybe YouTube videos. I'm not even sure where it began, but the devastation that I've been placed through here. A lot of these words end up coming back to virtue signal me. And there's a lot of ways that this has been happening through YouTube thumbnails, content that's being played to me on the videos itself. When I say played to me, that's a broad statement, because it may sound like I'm a little crazy here, but I'm not. It's words that I would key into, or words that would come closer to my heart or my thinking. Anyway, in your zeal, devotion, and passion to pursue goals and accomplishments, do not be tempted to overthink things. Do not allow yourself to become trapped in a cycle of pondering. Move in the direction set before you. Go in the direction I've already shown you. As you do, you will find many new doors also will be open to you. You will discover the very best things I have for you. So do not sit in a cloud of pondering all of your options, waiting for every little detail to be presented to you before taking action. Move forward in faith, believing and trusting. Okay, I hear you. In your busyness of the day, do not forget your first love. I don't know what that means. My family, my daughter, my dog, God. As you walk your path, do not allow your fire to become cold. Do not allow your light to become dim. Even in doing well, you can lose sight of small and simple things. It's not hard to overlook essential and important details, so be mindful and allow me to highlight what is important, even in the moment. Return to the place from where you started. Okay, that would be at the beginning of the cue drops, right? Come to me again and again, and you will be renewed. You will be recharged and remain connected. From our connection together, all the delights I have for you from our connection together, all the delights I have will be given to you. All things you desire will be given, just as all the things you need will also be given. In the union of our fellowship together, you will receive and experience my delights and bliss with no end. You will experience my goodness, wholeness, purity, and generosity. I will shower you with my extravagant love forevermore, and you will remember your hurts no longer. All things from your past will be redeemed and renewed, for I am more than able to do so. It is my desire and my good pleasure to restore all that has been broken in your life. It is my good pleasure to redeem all things that have been stolen from you. For I will make all things new. I will show you, speak to you, and delight you, for in my presence you will surely experience the fullness of joy you cannot imagine. Now, I'm not going to explain exactly where that comes from because I run the risk by even reading that it'll stop coming to me. So, yeah, I'm back to having faith, like, is this, for real? Because, when the Q drop started, it was the happiest day of my life. And only to watch that fade and myself melting down repetitively over and over and over and being attacked and by people that should not have ever been attacking me. This should not have happened. What happened here is wrong. What took place, your attempt to burn off Deadwood to try to restore that information from that fraternity was wrong. All right, I'm not having it. There will be no reconciliation here. Zero. When I told you that I was consumed with revenge, you're looking at a man who has had decades to get to that day. Okay? I was patient. I was polite. I was nice. Nothing changed. Because they weren't ever going to accept responsibility for their actions. They were going to blame me or they were going to blame Kathy. And the fat bastard is the one that did it. Bonsai. That's your name, isn't it? Bonsai. I hope this comes right down on your head, you bastard. All right. You don't have the right to be messing around with a married person. If you're a girl and you see that man over there and he's got a wife and kids, you need to stay away from him. If you're a guy and you see a man over there with that girl and she's got kids with him, you need to stay away from her. Any negative message, any negative thumbnail, anything that I see from this point forward will be ignored, deleted, removed. Any kind of redirect trying to push something in, it's funny about information here, folks. Let's talk about that. Even though that somebody says something and you know that not to be true, even though you've read that information, what that does is that you internalize that information and now that becomes your focus. The statement would be, he who angers you conquers you. And that's the point. It's, you keep upsetting somebody until they lose it. Calling them gay Ray, gay Ray, gay Ray, gay Ray. Well, the guy's not gay. I'm not gay. And, yet, now all of a sudden I'm over here look like a crazy motherfucker ready to kill somebody because you continue calling me, name calling. And that's something else. The name calling. The name calling. Name calling. Children in charge. Can't really blame the current president when you got Hillary Clinton calling him out, calling us a bunch of basket of deplorables. But apparently our politics has evolved clear into that level of childish behavior. In America, it's time for the children to go. If you're going to be gay, you can be gay all you want. I'm not going to climb into your window and watch what you're doing, or arrest you, or, outcast you from society. You're going to do whatever you're going to do. It's none of my business. But I don't need it on the television at any time at all. I don't need that broadcast on there. This normalization of this behavior really only draws in those folks with complex trauma to find means of making them a victim, and it just boils down to bad behavior in a lot of cases. If you're under 35, you don't know what you're thinking. Humans basically grow up from a biological perspective the same way. From 0 to 10, you've learned to say your 1, 2, 3s, dress yourself and wipe your ass. And then shortly after 10, puberty hits, and now you're thinking about sex until you're about 35 years old. And you're driven, in most cases, from, sexual, need and, sexual desire. And therefore you're very easily, manipulated into believing things that you, when you get older, you're like, well, I don't even know why I was thinking those things. Music that we listen to, the movies that we watch, greatly influence how children make decisions. Cheech and Chong's, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Dukes of Hazzard, all played a factor into my life. Running with Van Halen, Motley Crue, a lot of what they considered rock and roll or hard rock in the 80s. Influenced me. It's not to say that the 70s music was any better when you've got everybody trying to talk about drugs. The poor children today grew up with Breaking Bad and Sons of Anarchy. Look, you want to know where all the murders are coming from, or American Gangster? Wow, what a scene. What a scene. You know what I'm talking about. The scene in American Gangster. You wonder why people are getting shot in the streets, and why black folks are making a lot of bad decisions out there, that, you keep pumping that kind of shit into the system, and that's exactly what happens. You end up with a society of look, and here's the thing. Once you start down that road and you are making these decisions that end up, you get caught by the law, and then all of a sudden, here comes this traumatic moment in your life, and you don't like it. You don't want to go to jail. You don't want to be in trouble. Catching people and putting them in jail for throwing rocks through windows isn't the answer. Or smoking a joint on the corner or chasing them down isn't the answer. But leaving it unchecked also leads to other repercussions. So I think that when we're looking at those types of issues, that there ought to be appropriate, I hate the word punishment, but appropriate responses to these issues. When a person doesn't catch a break, that's when they don't. Everybody just doubles down. It doesn't get, you're like, well, we gave you chance after chance after chance. Not if they didn't feel like they were given a chance. If they don't feel like they were given a chance, well, then all they really look at is that, that the cops are bad. And that's where we're at this point, And I don't really appreciate the police officers, calling people bad guys. Bad guy down. That you're creating a culture within inside your organization that is also, one side's creating the other, and it's getting out of hand. I'm not trying to, and then, I heard somebody, say, well, like there ought to be like a social worker there, and then everybody mocks that idea. I don't know. I've heard police officers tell me that, the situation was under control until, Captain Make a Difference shows up And then all of a sudden, here, like, 5 or 6 people are going to jail, and it was all good before he came and escalated the whole matter. It came from a state cop right here locally. Not that the rest of that I kind of made up. I'm just saying his statement was that he has seen police officers show up to a scene and escalate the issue where it was under control, and now it's out of control because, again, the cop come in and cause the problem. And I could give some other examples, but I'm not here trying to I support the police. I support, I'd back them up if they were in trouble. But for anybody that's watching us, for God's sakes, if they show up, you do what they're telling you to do. And to the public defender's office that exists. And, do you think you guys could try to win a case somewhere instead of just cutting a plea bargain? We need to figure that out too, because, people that can't afford an attorney gets provided somebody that's going to send them to jail. And that's how that works. I used a public attorney down here with a domestic violence case, and this woman didn't hear anything I had to say. All she saw was that I was somebody that was angry and I needed to go to jail. I was angry because what they were saying wasn't right. I tried to take my 16-year-old daughter out of a car because she was cussing me, telling me, first she said I was fucking stupid, and then she said, get the fuck out of my face. And that was it. I drew the line right then and there. You're coming into the house. We're going to have a talk. Next thing I know, I got my ex-wife beating me in the back of the head, my daughter hitting me upside the head. I haven't swung on anybody, and I went to jail. Wow. County I live in railroads people. And if that pisses you off down there that's watching, well, you do. You listen to your police officers, and a lot of times the things that they are saying to you are not, that's just not being related to you correctly. Training is, if there was ever a job that ought to have that people ought to be going through training after training after training after training, it ought to be that job. It ought to be one of the most hardest jobs to get into. It ought to be, that when a police officer shows up to your house, they basically ought to be one of they need to be the subject matter expert on police training. And unfortunately, we hire people at minimum wage. You get what you pay for. Okay, let's go back to what that message was there. It says start at the beginning, and we'll go back to Q a little bit here. There's a map in the beginning of the Q drops that I have no idea how to solve, and the mixed messages that I continuously receive is, time's up and you can't go back in time, and I just don't know who. It's difficult for me to believe who. I don't know. I just don't know. Trust your president. Okay, sure. I like the president. I already voted for him. Never vote for another Democrat in my life. I see exactly who those people are. When we talk about wealthy bloodline families that believe that they have the sovereign right to rule over you, we are talking about the Democrats. Not all of them. They talk about that a little bit too. These organizations, these fraternities, the Masonry and all that, that's where these people are from. They, when they talk about a generational pledge, it means that their father was a member, and they'll continuously bring people into the brotherhood that are legacy. That's what they're called, legacy members. And not familiar with this Q site. Okay. And so these folks end up being a part of this for like generation after generation after generation. Just a minute, I'm going to get a drink. Okay. I didn't realize that. So, I can't remember where I was at now. The map. I don't know who to listen to about that. According to that message, it says, start again. Wish I knew who that was. I don't know. When I go to Q Drop 17, why does Obama travel in advance of POTUS to foreign locations? Why is this relevant? Focus on the power of POTUS as it relates to the Marines. How can military intelligence be applied to prosecute bad actors and avoid corrupt agencies and judges? Biggest drop on poll. Above is reason why the shills are sliding. In case you didn't know, shills log and send new info back to ASF for instruction. I don't know ASF. Adam Shift fucker. They use a 5-prong pre-packaged injection. One post auto-generates 4 more at random designated times. Common drive of posts they all tap into. Since they misjudge the influence of the mainstream media, they are aggressively looking to censor throughout major platforms in exchange for CIA slush funds and worldwide access for expansion of said networks. Everything they do has been forecasted and prepared for. And the delta on this is 3 years, 1 day, 17 hours, 7 minutes ago. So, a lot of this is beyond my understanding. As far as that, let's go to post. So, post number 75 is a meme. The strongest weapon in the United States is a patriotic American. And that gaslighted me really well. Here. Now on 79, you start seeing parts of this map. It says, graphic is right. Add above points to graphic. Stay organized. Now, when we finally get down to post number... Post number 127 says, the graphic is your key. Because post number 128 is the full map. When we speak of 5 by 5, the section in the map that is in the center in pink is the 5x5. Now, granted, that is your, I don't know if you can see that, but here we go. 5x, oh, daggone computer. Yeah, okay. Hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, it also means in communication, which was my field in the service, was 5 signal bars. It was 5 transmit bars over 5 receive bars. 5x5, loud and clear. And on the sides of that, the purple and tan area and the green area, I'm going for a legend. And there very well could be some land navigation coordinates here that if it's possible that I could work with. In my hometown, this had originally led me to a bridge, sort of, because it kept saying 5 eyes, 5 eyes, 5 eyes. Well, I started thinking I-beams. I went underneath this certain bridge, and lo and behold, there were 5 eyes, 5 I-beams underneath the bridge. And on graffiti on the wall, it said "Do or Die" and $1,000,000 and I don't know. There was once upon a time I had that picture, but when the meme, there was a graphic somewhere, a meme somewhere that had soldiers digging in the ground, a supervisor in charge, and it said "Look to the stars." And anyway, I was down there underneath that bridge digging a hole, and meanwhile we got "Clear and Present Danger" being played as a theme, and I didn't know if we were, seemed to me I was being led down the wrong path, like somebody was going to try to set me up for some sort of patsy, as some sort of, or get me arrested with the FBI, or, I'm down here looking for a bomb. F that. I went to the police. They told me to ignore this. Well, now I'm at odds again, I think it's best that I should ignore it. I also think that when I go to my therapist, that, they're telling me to ignore it. I got friends telling me to ignore it. Quite the conundrum here. I'm not going to commit any illegal act. A variety of issues have led me to have complex trauma. I'm not violent. If anybody thinks this has been easy, well, we've missed that. It's pretty tough to sit here and absorb all of what has happened and not provoke me into something that hasn't provoked me. If there was ever any time that somebody probably should have been provoked, it's me, but I'm not going to let Fantasyland provoke me. It's a conspiracy. It's conspiracy. It's a bunt. It's a bunt. It's a bunt. Oh my God. I want to make sure that everybody understands. I do support law enforcement, but it's broken. A lot of parts of it are broken. You wouldn't let, I think we can all agree that a corporation should not be the ones that are writing the law or the legislation for their rules. So when I heard somebody say, well, people that have nothing to do with the job and they're the ones that, and they think they ought to know better. Well, I'll tell you what, the people that's doing the job aren't doing a good job either. If you're a police officer and all you're seeing is bad guys and all you're seeing is people breaking laws, well then, back to my original statement, you're creating the problem that you seek to solve. These aren't easy answers. They're not, arresting a bad guy down. And then, you can look in these families and see how this is repeated. We have this going on right here in certain people's names that are generationally affected. Like, oh, well, that's this name or that's that name. Here's one that's already been famous for it down in somewhere in the southern part. I think it's Boone County, which was Jesco White. The name White. You get down there like, yeah, they've always been a problem. They don't ever stay out of trouble and la 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 la. Well, probably the White family down there, and that's probably the correct deal. But there's other families that not every member in that family is a bad person. And I'm sure that's the same way with that White family. I know that there's names here in my community that not every person that was involved in that family is a bad individual. But they wear this cloud. They got this cloud over them because of, the way the police act towards them. I broke the law when I was a child, 13 years old, 14, 13 to 15 years old. I got in trouble. And these folks never really let me out of that. Didn't matter. I went and got married, went off to the Army, came right back here, same big piece of shit that I ever was, which is funny. I mean, you're holding me accountable for the actions of a teenager. Back to these bloodline families that think that they have the divine right to rule over you. Anyway, back to the map here. Forever, this thing has been blurry. Now, this computer does bring it up to where I can actually read the content that's on it. Not without some difficulty. And there's been times that I think that this information has changed, but maybe I'm wrong with that. I've noticed that the more I read it, the more, like, one time I read one message, the next time I read another message. So anybody want to make a comment down below and maybe point me in the right direction, since I'm trying to ask for help over this. That would be most beneficial. And, it's always funny because maybe somebody will put out some information that'll be generally like that, and not somebody else will put out information that will say, you can't get time back. That's already went by. You missed that opportunity. Man, I don't know what any of that shit means. Nor do I believe any of it. I mean, the only person until we get answers, I don't believe you. And then there's somebody else out there. Look, he wants you to do it for him. He wants you to do it for him. I don't know what the hell to do to begin with, so what do you want? What do you want? I don't want you to do it for me. I want you to get me started. And be there when I'm like, oh, hey, look, because I'm a man with questions. And if there's somewhere in there that there's something that like that I could possibly make a question out of, I need somebody to, hey, what's this going on? What's this mean? Oh, I don't mean anything. Well, it's kind of funny because, here I see a connection. They're like, yeah, I guess you would. Yeah, I guess I would. But you're overlooking it, and it's a detail that I don't miss. And I'm not trying to yell at nobody, but it is frustrating. And for those of you that I've heard say something about angry and yelling, and look, there was no conversation growing up with my mother. It was a battle, and you yelled at each other. And so what you think is anger and screaming and yelling is really just me communicating. Sorry that you see it some other way. That's back to, this is your issue, not mine. You want energy? I'll give you energy. I'm not the guy that runs up that hill. I'm the guy that yells at people to get up that hill. Reread crumbs. So already here at November 11th, it's telling you to go back and reread these crumbs. And then we have all these banks, and we talk about follow the money. Rogue operators here failed to shut down site protected. This will only get worse. I had a lot of people tell me that too. That was from the Freemasons. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. I'm not interested in your organization. You had the opportunity to bring me in there once before. And unless you're willing to throw those people that did that out, I don't want nothing to do with you. And you're going to have to accept my belief systems, because I'm not going backwards. I'm not going to repeat the same. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Your congregations are getting slimmer and slimmer and slimmer, and if you would just allow your story to evolve a little bit, you could get some people back and some new membership. Stop thinking that your way is the only way. Stop being so closed-minded. Somebody told me that the relevant matter only goes up to December the 9th. So from the beginning up to December the 9th is the relevant content. But if you can make sense out of some of this, then good luck. What stringer was provided 2 days prior to event _conf _d-tt what is that mark? I don't know. Arrow pointing up _v891 _0600 _yes _green 1 _0600 bunker apple yellow sky bays, because those are all capitalized, in the parentheses or the kill box ..+1 confirmation 0600 time yes in parentheses, green 0600 parentheses time, base green yellow condition yellow question mark in parentheses air. What were the key words in the stringer? Confirm green yellow sky. Guide to reading map? Question mark. Legend. Past provides the future. Questions provide the answers. Lord, lowercase d, capital R, the Rothschild, ++, target. Who was the pilot of the plane? Green. What was countered? Unknown to us. I mean, I could redress this, but what kind of nonsense does any of that shit mean? I mean, this is just something. This sounds like something that comes out of like air traffic control. You know. And then we get to the very bottom. Act 2, Scene 4, movie idea, thoughts, characters, blah, 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 blah. Mission failure. I'm just pointing that out. Confirm. Keywords, confirm, green, sky. Why were keywords added in the stringer? What was the purpose? What was previously stated? To who specifically? Plus, plus. Who countered? Learn to read the map. Missing critical items. Graphic is key. Ordering is critical. Q. All right. Talk about some cognitive dissonance. I have no idea what any of that means. Archive immediately. Stringer equal code equal command. What stringer was provided 2 days prior to event? What were the keywords in the stringer? Confirm. Green, yes. Sky. Why were keywords provided? Guide to reading map. Lord DR. What was previously stated? Plus, plus. Who was the pilot of the plane? Bad actor. Who was the pilot of the helicopter? Green. What was... What was countered? Who was on the ground outside shortly before the collision? Who was in the home shortly before the collision? Learn to read the map. We may have overestimated your ability. Q. I didn't hear not a soul make sense of any of that shit. I don't think any of it means anything. Here's a good one. Dear Q, Jesus Christ was fucking pissed at his apostles most of the time because they were stupid fucks at the time. They couldn't piece together even the most basic of clues. We are no different and are even more clueless. Well, we are trying, but you really do have to spell it out for us. Sorry, we believe you are speaking truth. To whom else can we turn? So put up with our shit and help us. And we'll do what you ask. Sniffer programs would kill the site. Everything has to be carefully crafted and tooled prior to release. Godspeed, Patriot. Q. Yeah, I don't know. Here's a bunch of, old ass pictures of Rothschilds gilded in gold, and you are learning, you needed a push. This was all the way back on November the 21st, 2017. I didn't exactly come to grips with the Q drops until like March. When I say come to grips, when I started realizing that this had something to do with me. And this here picture on photo of this church on post 191. This thing looks to be all kinds of photoshopped, warped. Of the snake. Looks like it's, it just doesn't appear to be correct to me. I could be wrong. Maybe that is the way the building's built. Identify symbolism, owl, \Y. Which performers / celebs supported in HRC supported Hillary Rodham Clinton during the election? Who performed during her rallies? What jewelry and or tattoos present? What other events do they attend together? What does HRC represent to them? What celebrities have owl / Y head symbols? What politicians have owl/Y head symbols? What powerful people have owl/Y head symbols? What powerful groups have owl/Y head symbols? Why are they shown openly? Their need for symbolism will be their downfall. MSM role, push conspiracy theory. Social media role, push conspiracy theory and institute new rules allowing for ban. Censorship. The graphic is key. Reread graphic. Example. What family did Soros replace? In parentheses, we have the Y. Part 2. How were they adopted into the cult as children? What were they provided for obeying and staying silent? Brainwashed. All that you know to be right is wrong. The cult runs the world. Fantasyland. The world is fighting back and destroying the cult. 20% public, 80% private. The world would collapse otherwise. Or the world would otherwise collapse. 40,000 foot view, again, needed to decrease altitude to avoid conspiracy label was necessary. Godfather 3, for God and country, Q. And then we got, these things just repeat. None of that stuff has any. Ancient Egyptians considered gold the skin of the gods, specifically the sun god Ra. Sum of all fears. Expand your thinking. Now it's got to be that map because you can't read it unless you expand it. On November the 24th, expand further, make the connection. Map currently has 43 confirmed connections. Important to understand, when this breaks, many won't swallow. MSM, not mainstream media, not trusted. You are the voice. We are here to help guide. Future proves the past. You are the calm before and during the storm. Yeah. And then we got more of this red freedom underscore VO5 freedom stand whatever. You look at post 229, you tell me if that makes any sense to anything. It looks like some sort of code. Just basically scrolling through to get to December the 9th. On December the 4th, review red stringer. Focus on Hussein AIDS video. Cross-reference. Date of stringer versus video. Learn to decider. News unlocks message. Find the keystone. So back to that bridge, when it said look to the stars, I finally did look up and I found a rock laying on the edge of the I-beam up there. And I did manage to drag that down. I still got it out in the car, but and when we start talking about Red Cross, they're right up above the street is a Methodist church, and it has a Red Cross. Anyhow, it was pretty rough for me to even walk in that church due to my aunt being there and due to her husband being my uncle and being the fact that he's the one who had was the father of my oldest brother because he was sleeping with my mother. You guys are trying to force me into some situations there. How many months went by before I decided to make that leap? Apply this keystone. Okay, drop 270 and 269. Key dash unlocks the door of all doors. Stone, the force strength capable of yielding power to act on info. Key plus stone equal Q. 270. Admiral Rogers, no such agencies. And I don't W and W plus POTUS / U.S. military equal. Apply the keystone. Paint the picture. That's December the 5th. We just have a bunch of pictures going on, and then we finally get to December 9. And on December the 9th, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Wow. Rather strange ordering. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. "20 posts on the 9th. Not understanding why the drops today aren't being understood. Expand your thinking. Important cue." Now we have that Chester Bennington song. Chester Bennington, and the other, what was the other name? Chris Cornell. I guess they're both done. They tried to move on Geffen, and they paid the price. What has been said about the U.S. military? The speech yesterday verified and unlocked so much. Expand your thinking. Reread crumbs. Listen to yesterday's speech. Connect the markers. News in all form unlocks the map. Expand your thinking. The Great Awakening. I have no idea what I was missing there. I just don't. I don't have regular cable. I got to catch everything on a delay on YouTube. And I'm really tired of, like, when I ask a question that, days go by, and all of a sudden, but like, if you can't return my question within the next 24 hours, that shit probably not, I don't even remember. It takes like, oh, that's right. Okay, now I put that together, but it's 3 days late. Hell, I'm already somewhere else by that point. Then all of a sudden you answer back. I mean, I'm what? Quicker turnaround. Following day. Put me in a state of constant hypervigilance with cognitive dissonance, and then you expect me to remember shit. And then don't dare complain. Like that word justice out of there. .309. Q drop 309. I really wish I understand why you have this ordered on this one side here with all these being blocked off straight down in a straight row. And when we go to making an understanding of the map, if I'm supposed to count letters, do I count the spaces in between? And I am pretty tired. I like this statement. Dear Patriot, we hear you. We hear all Americans such as yourself. The time has come back to take our great land. The time is now. Rest assured, POTUS is backed by the absolute finest people alive who are all dedicated to the eradication of evil and corruption from the U.S./world. Find peace. God is with us. God bless and be safe. The White House. Yeah, that didn't gaslight me any. That didn't make me cry out of happiness that this world was going to change. That didn't make me have the happiest moment, one of the happiest moments of my life. You can count the people who have the full picture on two hands. Of those, less than 10 people are only 3 are non-military. Why is this relevant? Game theory. Outside of a potential operator who has been dialed in with his or her specific orders, dialed in with orders specific to his or her mission, nobody else has this information. Operators never divulge. Alice in Wonderland. Here's a good one. To those watching, you know who you are. You have a choice to make. You can stand up and do what you know to be right, or you can suffer the consequences of your previous actions. Make no mistake, you are on the losing side. The choice is yours. If you decide to take down pole and the net, we will be ready. With a stringer of something here, Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, that didn't gaslight me either. This is on November the 2nd. I still haven't even put all this together. I'm still trying to figure this all out. I'm having a hard time remembering everything. All I know at this point is like, Alice in Wonderland, future proves the past. Where have I heard that from? That was out of my own mouth. Fala Huma. Wizards in Wonderland. I'm sorry, Wizards and Warlocks. Very smart, Anon. Disinformation is real. Distractions are necessary. Saudi Arabia is the primary. U.S. is the secondary. Asia/Europe. Alice and Wonderland Q. And somewhere in here, it leads you to that book, Alice in Wonderland, written by Sir John Tenney or something like that. Name right out of the fraternity. Okay, so I'll start over and I'll try to make a little bit more sense of this map, I suppose. I guess that's another question. Is the graphic, is that what I'm supposed to focus on? You know, knock at the door. Somebody with some answers. Something I can, a resource to count on. That'd be nice. Make the call, make the call, make the call, make the call, make the call. Odds are, if you continuously stoke me or poke me or prod me to do something, I'm not going to do what you want me to do because I don't know what the hell it means. Why? Why would I make a phone call? Didn't say anything about that in the drops to make a phone call. Nothing is random. Everything has meaning. Plus, 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 Q, plus, 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 plus. I'm sorry, plus, Q. These are November the 6th, 2017. Q drops 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Stupid people making a lot of decisions. I think they're smart. All the rest of us standing around here going, this can't be good. I don't know what to tell you. I love that guy. I must have read Q drop 128 150 million times. Think mirror, look here or there. I'm sorry, look there or here in parentheses or there. The truth is behind you. I had almost 3 years without these cigarettes before these started. Now, I have an aneurysm in my aorta going into my stomach. I have to, my blood pressure has been just skyrocketed. I have to eat massive amounts of blood pressure medicine in order to keep my blood pressure down. And I sleep a lot because of due to the stress and everything that's combined with all this. I have digestive issues as well. I don't appreciate being mocked on mainstream media at all. I'll leave it there at that. For those of you, actually, I'm going to leave it here. For those of you who are trying to help me, thank you. I mean, God bless you. I'm not a violent man. I can be angry, frustrated, disgusted. Um, when you double down, I'm going to double down. So it's not a threat. It's just I match energies, is what somebody told me once. And if you can be kind to me, I'll be kind to you. Trying to get me to forgive a group of men that gang raped my wife, that's just not going to happen. Trying to tell me that I assaulted somebody, that's just not going to happen. Trying to guilt me, shame me, persecute me, prosecute me, not going to happen. Anyway, back to those who are trying to help me. I love you. I love you too, America. If I don't get answers to questions, then the puzzle doesn't make sense. This delta timestamp problem, I don't, unless you're showing me exactly what it is to figure out and look at, I'm not going to know. I can only, because I still have questions. I don't see a pattern. Um, and I'm still praying that this all turns out good. I'm trying to look out for me and mine, trying to put my family first. So God bless you. May your God go with you.